Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today I want to talk to you about what this leaf pattern means and how you can address it. And it's more of an explanation than a lot of visual, but it's really important. This is my tomato garden where I'm growing tomatoes that I want to get to 1 pound to 2 pound, and you can see that yellow pattern. If you come over to this tomato, down on the bottom leaves, you can see the same pattern also. And that's my second clue. Both plants are looking and doing the same thing. When you come over here to the third plant, the leaf on the bottom has the same pattern. Now I can tell you that these leaves are looking better because of the treatment I did about a week ago. Now, you have to kind of do some problem solving. What happened, or what's going on in this soil? Well, I put down bagged humus and manure, and thinking that it was fully composted, ready to give nutrients to my plants, I was wrong. It was not fully composted. When you put compost into a soil that hasn't fully broken down, not 100% composted, not completely broken down, the process of composting, further breaking down that material, then competes with your tomato plant or your vegetable plants. So while that humus and manure was breaking down further with the biological action of the soil, it was taking nitrogen from my plant, and this is a sign of a lack of nitrogen. Now, this is really important that you don't get online and start doing 1,000 things to your plant. Like, this is not the point where you would start throwing on Epsom salt, other organic fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, and just hitting this plant with so much, because it's possible to put too much fertilizer in here, damage the plant, and the leaves could look like this. So I know that all that was in this garden was some organic 555 or less fertilizer and the composted humus and manure. That was the reason that this plant started getting yellow leaves, because the compost wasn't fully broken down. How I treated it about a week ago, I gave it a 1/4 strength chemical fertilizer like Miracle-Gro. Don't use that company if you don't like them. But I wanted a chemical fertilizer that gave me all the macronutrients and all the micronutrients to take care of this plant. I also added in fish emulsion, which is a nitrogen fertilizer, which will directly address that yellow pattern, and it would also provide organic material to feed the soil, because sometimes people worry that a chemical fertilizer can kill out soil life, and it's true on a large scale, but not really in your home garden. So I did that a week ago, and here is the pattern that I think is most interesting. When you start down at the bottom, you can see the yellowing pattern right here. So that was one level. You can see that the suckers coming in are perfectly green. There's no yellowing pattern like that. And this is also recovering. It was much worse. Then you come up to the next level, and that pattern is still in there. And then you go up to the third leaf, the next level, and you can see just a little bit on the tip. It's hard to see. There is a little bit of that yellowing pattern. Let's see if I can find it, but right on the tip. Now, this is about the point where I fed it the 1/4 strength chemical fertilizer and the full strength fish emulsion, giving it the nitrogen and nutrients it needed. And then all this top growth is completely green. The problem has been corrected. Just on the side note, that is insect dust that I use. I put that on late at night before I go to bed, and the beetles walk through it, take care of the problem, and it's the morning. So I'm going to wash all that off so it doesn't bother the good insects. But the pattern is interesting. There was the problem started, worked its way up the plant, put in the solution of soluble fertilizers, and the plant is okay. Now, I just want to be clear, is you don't want to be hitting this plant with Epsom salt, tons of chemical fertilizers, tons of organic fertilizers, all kinds of different things, because it can harm your plant even further. And a leaf pattern like this can occur because there's too much NPK or other nutrients in the soil. You can overdo it. So to summarize, it's really important to think about what is in the space of your garden. In this case, it was the humus and manure that was supposed to be fully composted. It wasn't. It affected the leaf structure. I fertilized it one time with a 1/4 strength organic, 1/4 strength chemical fertilizer, and a full strength fish emulsion with nitrogen, and left it alone. And that's the biggest tip. Once you feed this guy, leave it alone. Leave the tomatoes alone for a good 2 weeks. Let them adjust to the changes. Let them take in the new nutrients, and see how the plant responds. This plant responded perfectly, so just leave it alone. Don't overdo it. Anyway, I hope this gives you some idea of how to problem solve, how to figure out what might be going on with your tomato leaves, and then how to address it in a way that you don't do more damage. Please check out my garden and seed shop at www.therustedgarden.com. Thank you.